Okay, so now we're going to be discussing basic troubleshooting techniques. So not all troubleshooting techniques, just the basic ones, right? So troubleshooting. Recognize that troubleshooting may be a technician's most difficult task because experience is going to help you be a better troubleshooter. So those with more experience are going to find this section more understandable and easier. So if you're really like, wow, I have no idea what we're talking about here, it's because you probably have it's probably because you have no experience or a little experience, especially related to these topics. So just hang in there and try to get some experience, and then it'll become more and more less stressful for you to do. So develop a plan of action after diagnosing a problem. So once you figure out what's wrong, then we have to figure out a plan for fixing it. So approach the problem in an organized and methodical manner so that it's repeatable. You want to be able to repeat the process. Quickly eliminate alternatives to focus on the cause of the problem. So remember when we were talking about the first thing we do is lay a case down, pull the cover off, and then just start unplugging things and turning it on and figuring out what's busted, right? So there's 5 phases of troubleshooting. We want to define the problem, and to do that we want to listen, ask questions, and examine. And then phase 2 would be to zero in on the cause. So we define the problem. Now we want to zero in on the cause. And to do that, we might try to isolate the problem, to narrow the search, and we want to observe. And then the next phase, phase 3, would be to conduct the repair. So we want to define the problem, zero in on the cause, and then perform the repair. So we need to make a plan, we need to follow the plan, and we need to repair or replace the bad component, board, whatever it is. And then phase 4 is to confirm the results. So we want to define the problem, zero in on the cause, conduct the repair, confirm the results, test the solution, ensure that everything works. And then the last phase, phase 5, is to document the results. So we want to define the problem, zero in on it, conduct the repair, confirm the results, and then document the results. So we want to document the problem, document the repair, so that we have something we can use in the future. And we know what the history is on this particular server, machine, this type of network, whatever it is you're troubleshooting. Basic Windows troubleshooting approach. Start by gathering information about the problem and the system. Determine if the system will boot. Look for obvious problems. The boot menu may tell you exactly what's wrong. Hey, we're missing a keyboard. Okay, the keyboard's bad, easy enough, or it's loose, something like that. Localize and identify the problem. You want to try to isolate as much as you can. Define the action plan that uses the appropriate tools. Define an action plan that uses the appropriate tools, right? So you want to use the right tools for the right job. And then resolve it. You want to resolve the problem. Minimize the potential for recurrence by taking steps to eliminate further harm to the system. If it's always dirty and the dust is causing short outs or something like that and the board keeps burning, get it off the floor. Take it off the floor, put it on a desk or something. And then document your work. So you want to have a history on these computers and networks. The problems will likely crop up again in most cases. The same things, types of problems tend to happen over and over. Like for example, I mentioned earlier that dust can be a problem for computers sitting on the floor. The power supplies heat up and they blow. It happens all the time. Performing a differential diagnosis. This sounds like a test question to me, right? So a differential diagnosis involves examining system behavior and filtering out the most likely problem. So you examine the system behavior and you filter out the most likely problem. So we want to start filtering things out until we hone in on something, this is probably what's wrong. So if a system is linked to an action, then that action is most likely the cause. If the symptom is linked to an action, then that action is most likely the cause. In developing a differential diagnosis, you should do the following. Identify possible causes and work to eliminate all but one. Validate your assumption by testing the solution. Validate what your assumptions are by testing the solution. If you think it's the video card, then swap it out and see. Observe where in the operational cycle the problem occurs. Is it always on boot? Is it always when I do the following, try to access the network or something like that?